That is better. Real life.
Oh
Real
shit,
life.
hold on.
We're trying to function here, ladies and gentlemen. When you see why, uh, hi, look at us. We're in costume. That's why it's hard because we can't really maneuver because the costume is. Yeah, we're. As you can see, we got the gloves and everything. But hey, everybody, welcome to Unpopular View, the entertainment side. I'm joined with my partner, Cedar Superior. I'm bad
I
guy. Here, I should have put Spider Grand Poobah. I messed up there.
I
But
should have put
with
Spider
it,
Superior.
well,
Superior,
we
the
just
Superior Spider-Man.
did right. That's Doctor Octavius. That fits you because you're a villain. But
You know it.
we're here to talk about Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse, and we talked a little bit off air how we felt about the movie. I feel like we both know how we feel about this movie, but quick thoughts. Quick thoughts about the movie.
Hey.
Hey,
So, by the way, we will be going into spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, leave us a thumbs up and come back after watching. But yeah, just a heads up again, we are talking spoilers for this movie.
yes. Just to give you guys a fair chance. So, why don't you kick it off and give your quick initial thoughts about this movie?
All right. So I saw it Friday. I didn't get a chance to see it Thursday, so I went to see it late Friday. And the first one was such a success that I was excited to go see this one. And honestly, there aren't a lot of animated movies nowadays that really like get me going. Like, oh yeah, I definitely got to go see it. But when this was, when I saw this was coming out, I was like, yeah, I definitely got to go to the theaters and see this one. And just, I don't even know what to say because honestly, there aren't many movies or any movies that you can compare these movies to. They're so different from what's been made and what's being made now that it's hard to compare it to anything else. They're just so visually pleasing. It's like
Yeah.
that's the one way I can describe it. It's visually pleasing. It's interesting to the eye, and I'm not even just talking about the plot alone, like character development, separate all of that. I'm just visuals of it. It is amazing. The
If
fact
I
that
could,
they had so many different layers to it. There's so many different animation styles, and not
yes.
even just different animation styles, but different animation styles in one scene. So it's like this is different than this, and this is different than this, and they're all working together and they're all interacting. It's really interesting to look at on screen, and it kind of reminded me in a bigger, like way bigger way of like Roger Rabbit and that movie.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because they have like the different mediums on screen, but this took that and it's like one like crack or something. It just took it to the extreme.
Wait, what? Okay, I don't know if it was on crack, but I do get what you're saying. The visuals were great. Even something like if I could put this scene up right here with Gwen, right? And you see that she's blue. And I kind of what I liked about it, so what I was getting out of this clip is you could tell that she was going through an emotion. She was sad. And I thought that was really cool. And when she was very warm, the room would light up into a more brighter color. So I do agree with the visuals was just I mean, for me, that was one of the things that just took me away off rip. It was the visuals. Because even like this, if I can use this clip right here too, where we have what's he? He's the Scarlet Spider, but he's drawn in a comic book way, and I
Hmm.
thought that was so cool. And also too, what was cool about him too was because he was funny. He was like brooding as I sit here on top of the roof and
Yeah,
everything.
he has
Narrate.
his own monologue
He had
just
his
about
own.
everything he's doing.
Yeah, there was some. I think there was a scene. If I could just jump to a scene, and they were like, "Oh, that's Ben." He says, "Tragedy," and then all this, and then he just talking. I was like, "Wow, who let Batman in the house?" But I
Uh-huh.
do agree, the visuals were so great, and I love that they took liberties with the visuals here. I feel like what it was when they did the first movie, they played it safe, and then this one they said, "Let's go for it. Let's just change the game here." And they sure enough I don't know if it's necessarily game changing, and I'm using words here, but it just stood out. Even someone I wanted to get his visual because his visual was really good. I think this is it right here.
Are
Let
you
me
talking
see.
about Hob? Oh no.
No, I'm sorry. I thought I had his picture in here, but yes, his animation was great because
Oh
he was it
yes.
was 2D, but then he also had that newspaper feel too. Because if you looked at the animation, you see like writing and stuff on it. I thought that was
Hmm.
so cool.
I loved Hob was probably one of my favorite characters. Hob Brown.
Yes.
He just stole the show for me.
Oh, he was great.
Um, Definitely. And it was just so cool. He was so cool about it. He was just swag with him. I was like, yeah, you can't help but to think he's just an awesome guy.
Well, you know, it's funny, but Miles even saw him take off. He said, "Why are you even cool when you take off the mask?" Because I'm just cool. And
Right.
he stole the show from me from the little clips that little scenes that he was in. Because there was even a spot where he says, "It doesn't matter, I quit anyway." I was like, "What? What are
Hmm.
you talking about, dog?" No, he definitely he was a scene stealer.
But the whole thing with what we talked about the Batman just a moment ago, the Batman of the movie
Spider Man,
was this other guy. What's his name?
Ben
Do we
Riley,
have a picture of him? The
Ben Ben
He was
Riley.
voiced by our Moon Knight actor.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Spider-Man 2099. I hope we have a picture. I swear we had a picture of him in there. But no, yes, he's really killing the game because right, he's Moon Knight. There was also talking that he was in a Star Wars movie. So I mean, he's
Hmm.
in for the nerd culture, and
Yeah,
he's with it.
clearly, Moon Daddy is here for us all. Just
I'm not going that far.
and no, there's already all this stuff on TikTok about how he's like the baddie of the movie. All the girls are in love with him, but I can see it. It's the voice. He's got it. I don't know what it is,
No, he
but
really he nailed the role, and I think he did such a great job bringing out Miguel, who came off really unhinged in this movie. Um, what did you what did you think about his character? Because he was so unhinged with the whole thing about. So the story here is, and once again we're jumping into spoilers. Canon, right? There's this scene where Miles prevent the captain from I forget what universe it is, the number, but it was like a Indian version of Spider-Man. So he prevented that tragedy from happening, and he says, "Well, that was supposed to happen. He was supposed to die." And then they show all the like Spider-Man is really built off tragedy, right? So when
hmm
Uncle Ben dies, that's when Spider-Man is really, really born. But
hmm
I guess I wanted to ask, what did you feel about his character?
um, what, the character or the
Well,
facts
I
about
mean,
the canon.
well, you could throw your thoughts in that too, if you
Oh,
have any.
so when it came to the canon thing, it reminded me a lot of that What If episode with Doctor Strange and how it's,
Oh yeah.
that Nexus event and everything. It has to happen in every universe and yada yada yada. Um, and that was honestly one of my favorite episodes of What If. And I feel like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness really dropped the ball and it didn't compare even to that What If episode. And in this movie, they took that concept and made it into what it could have been, I feel like, in Multiverse of Madness, because it made so much sense in this movie and it just helped to push the plot forward, in my opinion. And the fact that we see that it's all of the captains have this thing where they must die. And if they
Mhm.
don't, the whole universe will, kind of, eat itself up. And just interesting. And the fact that I don't know if you caught it, but you probably did because you're a smart individual. Gwen Stacy's or yeah, Gwen,
The
her
help,
dad was
yeah.
a captain and he's still alive, right? And it's probably because he stepped down from being a captain. He didn't go through with the speech. He didn't go through with it.
You know what happened? Her father read the script and he said, "Yeah, I quit." He said,
He said,
uh-uh.
"Who got to die? The captains.
What?
Forget
He
this,
read that
right?"
shit and he said, "Oh hell no." But yeah, no, I noticed that too when he quit. That yeah, I noticed that.
Hmm.
We got a
And
friend. I'm sorry because he was our good friend Dan here. The moment I saw the glowing branch, I immediately thought Scar's timeline.
yep, Dan. I just saw Dan at the Congress today. What's up, Dan?
What's going
So
on, Dan? I'm still upset about your judging, but hello. How you doing,
great
Dan?
judge, great judge. But yeah, it definitely did look like the sacred timeline, with the branching and things like that. And also the fact that we saw when we got to see these clips of other events, other Uncle Ben's died and other things like that. We saw Garfield
I love
as the
that.
Amazing Spider-Man, and we
Yeah,
saw Tom, not
Toby.
Tom, we saw Toby.
Toby, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that they included all of that in there. I do love how they just included all the Spider-Man like lore here. I don't know. I just thought it was great. And I also sat here and said, it must suck to be just called Uncle Ben because every time you see Uncle Ben, like every Spider-Man, I just saw It was a Peter and an Uncle Ben on the ground. I said that must
Uh-huh.
suck to be Uncle Ben. He's just
Well,
always constantly getting killed.
hey, it gotta happen, or else the universe will collapse in on itself. But it's also interesting that we got to see a little bit of Venom, the Venom universe as
Oh,
well,
that was so
and
cool. Yeah,
yeah, and it makes me wonder if we're going to get like some kind of crossover with Tom Holland possibly in the next movie, because there's all connected. We see that now, just based off of the imagery of the Sacred Timeline, based off the imagery that we saw with Tobey Maguire and Andrew, who were also in the third Spider-Man Tom Holland movie. So clearly, there's a universe within
with
the
Venom.
Miles Morales universe that has Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And I just wonder if they're going to explore that in the third movie. I hope they do.
Third movie, which I'm sorry because I got so lost. Talking about for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, right? Oh, you
Yes,
talking about? Okay.
I'm talking about across the Spider Verse, and in Beyond the Spider Verse, the third one that's going to be coming out, because of course this movie ended how it
One
did
part,
with the to be
yes, two
continued, right?
parts. Yes, yes, yes.
So the fact that we saw the other two Spider-Men, live action Spider-Man in this movie, that means that there's a universe that the other Spider-Men within this movie are aware of Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Well, there was also that Easter egg with Tom Holland's because you remember when they had I'm sorry, Donald Glover, and he was the Prowler, and he was locked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
the
And he's in
callback.
Tom Holland.
Yes.
But I hope that they bring in, like, I hope we get to see like a crossover where we get Miles Morales and Tom Holland Spider Man in the third movie. That's what I would want to see.
That would be so. That would be cool. That would be cool.
Very
I felt
cool.
like I read something. It was teased like he might have did some voiceover stuff talking about Tom Holland and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So maybe. And the way they did all of this, it makes you so right. They did the thing with the Venom verse. Matter of fact, I don't know if you because I kept saying like, is that I can't think of the guy who actually plays J. Jonah Jameson. Obviously he does a
Hmm.
great job playing. But I felt like I kept hearing his voice. I was like, did they get him to voice over here? I don't. Did you
Yeah,
hear him in the back? You're
yeah.
right. I
He
thought that
was
was. I thought
there.
that was, I thought
That
that
was
was
his
so cool.
voice.
I thought that was so cool.
I don't know if he brought any original like audio, but I
Right.
know they used like some audio from like other movies, and it was definitely his voice.
Right. Okay. So that's probably what it was. Maybe he didn't actually voice, but they used old voice clips and just used it for the movie. But I just thought
Mm-hmm.
that was such a cool touch to add that, and I did enjoy the other Spider-Mans. Like they had the Lego Spider-Man, they had all the like the PS or the PlayStation Spider-Man with the one with the pretty much your costume. That was the PlayStation Spider-Man, and I thought it was so cool that they had all these other Spider-Mans. I thought it was cool that they had a small cameo of the '60s Spider-Man, and he's moving in like
Oh yeah,
one like I don't know, it was like what 1% or something like that, and then
yeah.
everyone goes by. I thought everything, and I just thought the visuals, and I don't keep going back to the visuals. The visuals was so cool to see these different art styles, and I thought the story was great and makes me excited to see what is going to happen for part two, and then just if we could get to that part right there, that part two where Miles going to the wrong universe. Did you get that off rip? Because I was sitting next to a friend and he said, "Oh, he's in the wrong universe," and I didn't grab that right away. But did you grab that right away?
Well, I wasn't by myself when I saw the movie, and the person I was with when he was trying to use the what's it called, the go home machine, or whatever the heck they called it, right?
It was called the
And
Go Home
when they
Machine.
disclosed that it kind of tracks your DNA in order to match you to your correct universe, they're like, hold on, he has the spider DNA from the other universe, so they I guess sent him to the right place. So
Oh,
I didn't catch it, but the person I was with caught
yeah,
it.
I didn't
And
catch that right away. Wow, that's good.
no, what I thought was interesting though was the fact that when Gwen, when she was talking about this spider society, she said, "Oh, it's a small, elite group, and it turns out it's was pretty much all of the Spider Men, and the only reason that Miles was left out is because he is an anomaly, right?" That was interesting. I didn't expect that. I also wasn't sure when she first mentioned it, I was wondering why would they even leave Miles out? Because clearly, like he mentioned, he can go invisible. He has like the electric powers.
The
Like,
Venom
why would they
spike,
pick Gwen
yeah.
Stacy? Yeah, Gwen over him.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, right? I also wonder why was what's his name, Miguel? Was that his name?
Miguel,
The
you're right.
Why was Miguel so hesitant to bring her on in the first place?
Huh. Okay, so you're asking why was he so hesitant?
Yeah,
It's
because if it's
probably
for
going to
all
be
the Spider-Man.
it's probably going to be explained in the second movie, but it's probably something where he has some kind of trust issues or something like that. Because you're right, he was against, and shout out to Issa Rae because she voiced Spider Woman Jessica.
Oh, and that's another thing. Why was she out here on the field pregnant, like 8 months pregnant, out here on the field? That doesn't make any sense. Her baby daddy's trash. Miguel's trash for having her out there. Pregnant as I don't know what. Still fighting crime. That doesn't make any sense. Go sit down somewhere. Lay down,
When you're a
relax.
Spider Man, you never stop being a Spider person.
And speaking of pregnancy and babies, freaking Peter Parker had his little kid out there on the battlefield. Just horrible parenting all around. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
not for nothing. I mean, Spider Man is great at being a hero, but when it comes to parenting,
Mm,
we'll
I
give him we'll
see.
give him a thumbs down on the parenting. We'll give him a thumbs down. Well, although you gotta say though, the baby was holding her own though.
I guess, but she should be in the crib, not in the field. But anyway, what did you think? Why do you think that he was so hesitant to bring on
I don't
Gwen?
know. I mean, he seemed like he has some. He's someone who has trust. I'm talking about Miguel. He seemed like someone who's having trust issues. He seemed like while he's someone trying to keep the Spider Universe like stable and all that stuff. He'd rather just be by himself. He just comes off like he wants to be the. Because even with his wife, it's just like it's almost like because that's his wife, right? Jessica. I'm assuming, maybe I don't know.
Who?
For Miguel, they're not together, right?
No, no, because
I
all of his people died in
I
another
thought so.
universe.
You know what? That right because I don't know why I was putting those two together. But all right, but it just seemed like he wants to. He just don't. He just want to be by himself. So I don't know why he's hesitant on trusting people, or maybe the idea of having someone and watching their back and failing. He don't want to have
Hmm.
that responsibility again, like how you mentioned about his timeline, his universe, and just don't want that responsibility. That's
Hmm.
my only guess. And I also want to get to real quick, because the Vulture was here. He made an appearance, and I thought that art design was. Matter of fact, you know, I said in the movie, I said when they were struggling against the Vulture, I said it's the freaking Vulture. Like
Oh
it's the
man.
70-year-old old man with the big nose beak, the
Hmm.
beak nose. Come on, like it's the
He was holding
freaking.
his own, man. He was holding his own. He had to do
And
what he
matter of
had to
fact, this
do.
was 1659 Vulture, mind you. This is from the
Hmm.
Renaissance era. But yeah, that's what I think. Though I just think he just doesn't want the responsibility of watching someone's back and then failing. Because there was that one video that they showed, and it looked like there was a timeline that they tried to save, and they couldn't save it.
Hmm.
And I just don't think he wants that pressure.
Okay. What did you feel about the our villain of the movie, the
Oh my
Spot?
god! So Spot, right? At first, I said, "What a joke," and then this dude. Shout out to the fam. I went out to go see it with my friends, and one guy said if he knows how to master his villainy, his powers, he is OP. Which is yeah, he's very OP. In the beginning, I was laughing at him. I said, "Oh, what a joke!" Not realizing the threat that this man would become.
Hmm.
And I mean, I want to know more about Spots because what a design, right? First off, what a design. And
Hmm.
wow, that power is ridiculous. Because if I had that kind of power, I would sleep. I would sleep and then like, oh shoot, I gotta go to work. Just I would get an extra hour's sleep just with that kind of power.
Work. I would just zip into another dimension. Shit, I wouldn't even have to work. I'm over here this week. Forget that. But then it's like you have to look like that though. So there's the exchange. You have to look all crazy
Yeah,
like
you know
that.
what? Yeah, no, I wouldn't want that. That sounds ridiculous. And you know I'm a man of my skincare, so no.
Mm.
Yeah, I
I enjoyed him as a villain. And I like that we get to see him grow into an even worse villain because when we first introduced him, you don't take him that seriously. But as the movie goes on, you see what a threat that he could possibly be and what he grows into. And it wasn't until like almost the end of the movie that I realized, hold on, this is not. They can't end all of these plots here. Like there's so much still to wrap up.
right.
And it was right when I noticed it that's when we got the to be continued, and that is like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a two-parter.
Yeah.
Um, and I honestly feel this could be the best Spider-Man like trilogy we've ever gotten. It's
Oh,
better than anything we've gotten.
that is some big shoes. It's funny. I was talking to a friend, and he was like, "Pretty much Spider-Man 2 has been surpassed." And I try to keep like the live action and animated movies like because they're two different takes on Spider-Man. But this movie was so good that I can agree to that, saying this could be one of the best trilogies, Spider-Man trilogies or so. Because what we have, what two other Spider-Man movies that had a trilogy because they
Hmm.
robbed Andrew. I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw it there. Justice for Andrew. And yeah, no, I can agree to that. Fun
It's
movie.
100% better than Tom Holland's trilogy. I'm telling you that right now. And this is how you do fan service and cameos correctly, because they had cameos, they had fan service, but there was, aside from that, there was actual plot, there was actual like interesting things going on that made sense. That was my problem with Spider-Man 3, Tom Holland Spider-Man, is because it
Yeah.
depended so heavily on these goddamn cameos, and it was like the rest of the movie was fucking dumb. And it was just that's why I hate it, because it's stupid. And the only reason people like it is because, oh yeah, duh, Tobey Maguire's in it and nature. But aside from, if you take them out of the movie cannot stand. If you take the cameos out of this movie, the movie still stands as a
I,
great movie.
I do sit here and I listen to you. I obviously stand on different stands. I thought that they did a great job with the fan service. It wasn't insulting, but with this
No, it
one,
wasn't insulting, but it was all the movie had.
I thought there was some layers to it. But I'll say because I think so. I
That movie made sense. It was a good movie outside of the Tom Holland and Andrew being in it. You gonna lie and say that to us
who? Which
on
who? I'm sorry.
air?
I'm sorry. What?
Are you saying that the Tom Holland third movie, right,
Hmm?
was a good movie, even if there was no Tobey Maguire and no Andrew Garfield in it?
I mean, it would have been a different movie. I don't know what kind of movie that would have been, but I still would have
A
enjoyed.
bad one.
I would have still enjoyed it. I would have still enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm having the same conversation about this thing, but like I said, I just feel like they did a great job on uh, doing fan service because you've seen. I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of fan service, and you said this is really dumb, and you're probably going to say this movie. This movie did a great job with the fan service, but I also think at the same time too, if you're talking about live action and animation, you could get away a little bit more with animation, and and I did appreciate, like you said, the cameos that we had. I mean, I can't go through every last Spider-Man movie we saw, but when I saw Spectacular Spider-Man, that was a cartoon in like what the late 2000s, and I saw his animate him and the way he was animated. I like that a lot. So. I mean, just to sum it all up, because I think we'll be here all night talking about this movie. This movie was great. I just say take your family, your friends, go see this movie, and I can't wait for us to talk about part two, which will be next year. But did you or Fripp, you already knew this was a part one, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Oh,
know until damn near it was on the screen that it was a to be continued. I was like, hold on, they still got, where's the spot at? We didn't even
my
fix the
my
spot.
my friend was like that too. Mark was like that. He was like, I didn't know, and he was really surprised because um, I didn't know how it was going to end. And when they had him in this other dimension, and what was this Earth 42. He reveals his mother, Spider Man, and all this stuff, and it was, I don't know. I really like that ending a lot. I like the ending where he's his was it his uncle's still alive, the father's dead. There's this. It's funny when I saw Miles Morales with the cornrows and then the one with the afro. I immediately thought of Boondocks, and the one with the bridge was clearly
Yeah, Riley and
yeah, that was Riley's badass.
yeah,
And even when he said Miles Morales, he you know how to say I'm Miles Morales. I'm Miles Morales. Like he had
Morales.
I said, okay, this guy's the bad guy. And we see him tied up, and he's trying to talk sense to his evil self. And you see Miles just look at him when he realized like he's not going to listen. And you see him get ready to do the spark, the venom spike or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. And then seeing Gwen get her band to get her band,
Gwen.
Peter and all these other Spider-Man. I like that ending. It makes me excited about how this movie is going to continue. And the opening is going to. You cannot start off. When that movie opens, it's going to open with a bang.
Mm-hmm. I like I said, I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Also, just a side note is the fact that Miles Morales, he's Black Spider-Man, he's Puerto Rican Spider-Man, and as someone who's Black and Puerto Rican, it's really nice to see that representation on screen, and
Yes.
just how it's just handled so well, right? It isn't like super. There's a comic that came out, and it was it. I won't say the name because I don't want anybody to anything to happen. But the way that they handled this character was so derogatory and like so offensive, and I'm so glad that this isn't something that we have to deal with Miles Morales. Everyone, it's universally loved.
Yes.
It's just handled so well. So
Absolutely.
it's just great to see him on screen.
It's representation done right. It's
Yes.
big fan of Miles Morales. I tell people a lot, like he's practically my, like Peter Parker's always gonna have a special spot in my heart because obviously that's how I got into Spider-Man. But Miles Morales, I mean that's my road dog. And they do such a great job to make him so lovable. Like I kept rooting for him in this movie. Like when Miguel said, "You don't belong here. You're not this." I said, "Miles, shut this guy up. Like shut him the hell up. Shut this guy up." And for him to and Miguel, that scene. I love that scene. There's a lot of scenes I know we didn't talk about, so you guys gotta check it out and talk with us about it. But the scene where all of them are chasing him and he's on like this airplane train or whatever, and Miguel has him pinned to the thing, and he just sat here and said, "I was just setting you up all along," and then he spikes him. And that Miles Morales kid is something else. Everything you were saying, I just wanted to jump in and say, yeah, he was done correctly.
Yeah,
very, very done.
And as are his parents, and even the speech that his mother gave him about not letting people convince you that you don't belong, and how she was scared for him that they're not going to protect you like we do. They're not going to cheer for you like we do. And it's so sad. Like, it was so heartbreaking because I don't have kids, but I have nephews, and it's like you want to protect them, and you want to make sure that this world is kind to them, and everything else. And the fact that he goes off into the world and he has all of these experiences, some good and some bad. Even when he has the bad ones, it's just like so heartbreaking. He's like, no, you want him to be protected. Don't let this happen. But anyway, I can go on forever. Great movie.
Yes.
Honestly, I feel like it's the best movie that I've seen this year, and probably the best movie of the year. I'm going to say it right now. I don't think there's going to be a movie that's going to top this one this year.
Well, I want to make sure that this is put in for when we have the UPR Awards, that this movie is included because I will be voting for this movie. Absolutely. Fun movie you could take with the family to go see. We see Me Too reviews that Pops is taking us on Tuesday, so that's great. And we just have nothing but good thoughts about this movie. Fun movie. It's great. If you could go out there and do some cosplay with it, do it. And yeah.
2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. All right, so don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and join us here next Wednesday because we're going to be talking about none other than Gotham Knights. So join us for that and bring your wine because it's a wine down.
And you're gonna need some wine when you hear Turner talk.
Don't you hate on Turner? He's interesting. Not as interesting as Miles, but we can't all have winners. But that's it, guys. The show's over. Bye. Thanks for watching.
We got it. You want to